ChatGPT Inspires Me. Scrap 1. By Dave Gervais. Watching the growth of ChatGPT provided me the incentive to continue writing. I don't believe it, or any AI, will be our savior, but the concept continues to inspire my personal situation. Prior to experimenting with ChatGPT, I believed through perseverance, practice, and maybe pot, I could one day write professionally. By the way, a paycheck is my definition of professional, not education, background, or affiliation. I spent a year in college studying journalism. I loved it and hated it. After the first year, the hate won, and I quit. This was the early 90s. Luckily, as personal computers became affordable, I rediscovered my love of programming. I gave up the dream of telling other people's stories and began writing code. Overnight, the AP-style guide meant nothing to me. This continued for 30 years until a hearing/speaking issue developed and forced me to apply for medical disability. I prefer to call it temporary medical disability, while I transfer into a new source of non-government income. However, currently the odds are slim. Yes, I have a bad attitude. I hate nearly all rules, especially those in my newly chosen profession. After the first day of experimenting with ChatGPT, I thought, fuck, why bother writing anything ever again? Then I realized AI sucks at silly writing, my specialty. If you ask for a funny, or even a slapstick-styled story, it fails. It's not bad. But it's obvious ChatGPT is using past examples and randomizing them to form slapstick. The AI can't remember a scenario in its life where it saw something that either was slapstick, or was maybe tragic but someone made it funny. Instead, most of the AI creativity is limited to certain predictable outcomes based on the input story, like a movie remake with a few changes here and there or a Ricky Gervais production. A joke. I love Ricky's past work. Now I wait for something AI couldn't write based on Mr. Gervais' contributions to the art of storytelling. If I can see and mimic Ricky's style, what makes him unique? Will Ricky ever change his position on God? Will he go on a talk show next week and say, oh, by the way, I believe in God now? No. Never. Not a fucking chance in hell, as Ricky would say. Or can you not hear Ricky utter those words, that line? Has he uttered them? How many times? When? Where? Why? How many times has he already responded to the God question? It's always the same basic answer, so why bother repeating it? ChatGPT is no different, so it's not surprising AI can write like Ricky or anyone with enough source material. And no, it doesn't need much to figure out your style. This is what it says about mine. Fortunately for Ricky and others like him in the industry, he has a predictable formula. A Ricky Gervais movie will make about X amount of dollars based on his current personal fan base, regardless if the content is any better or different than the previous Ricky story. This formula is great for making the producers rich, but isn't great for human creativity on the eve of an AI takeover where soon many of them will be able to not only analyze the words of Ricky, but also the directorial decisions he's made in his movies. If I, a human, not an AI, can imitate Ricky's style online enough that many people believed I was actually Ricky using a fake account, then how hard can it be for a room of supercomputers with access to everything Ricky has ever said, done, or performed publicly? I love you, Ricky, but you are not that complex. On the other hand, if ChatGPT can process all of Ricky's past words and write a masterpiece of a script, and then someone creates a movie that wins every possible award on the planet while entertaining billions of people for decades, does it matter who owns the copyright? Technically, the owner is whoever runs the data through ChatGPT first and publishes it somewhere, anywhere, even Substack to copyright. However, in reality, Ricky did the hard work, made the effort, and produced the content. Ricky generated the characters, the stories, the database that AI used to create a new historical movie masterpiece. Shouldn't Ricky own the intellectual property? Or a percentage? Maybe Ricky gets 10% for whoever uses the Ricky Gervais style AI and creates a masterpiece? Or anything that sells. Otherwise, who does Ricky sue for stealing his style? ChatGPT? Or the user who fed it the data? It's not plagiarism, it's only mimicking, but there is nothing in place to stop anyone, or any machine, from emulating Ricky. Nor should there be. Practicing a style of someone who you respect isn't a crime in most of the arts. Singers belt out their favorite artists' tunes for years, making it their own version or writing in a similar style, maybe because it suits their voice. Yet, in writing, there is something that breaks this pattern of admiration. If your goal is to be a famous writer now, you better create better or faster than AI. Alternatively, does Ricky owe those who inspired him to create his stories? Should he send his favorite living comic, the one who inspired him the most, a check? Or the living family members of his dead inspirations? Too philosophical for me. Maybe Ricky can use his background in philosophy and explain it to me? In my case, I felt silly movie ideas was all I had to offer anyone as a sample of my work. I took them to the extreme in the silliness factor, as I believe only the absurd can provide a new viewpoint otherwise missed by society, and I like being silly. Not necessarily a better viewpoint, but simply different, opening up the realm of possibilities. I could run my stories through ChatGPT and clean them up, make them presentable, remove all the masturbation scenes, which seem to have no purpose, and then republish under a new name. But why? I'm presently unable, or unwilling to learn how to write a script or a movie treatment in any sort of professional style. I know this, I accept this, I embrace it. It allows me to write free and untethered by my subconscious to make it this way or that way. I understand this is the best I can currently produce, and it's unlikely any of these stories will fall on the desk of a producer, especially in this format, but if they do, and if something happens, great. If not, at least I put my words out there, got them out of my head, and moved on to my real joy in life, acting in porn. Joke. I don't act, I live masturbate. Sat in alone on camera until the tears puddle on my fat chest, slowly merging with a tiny speck of cum my body can still ejaculate in its advanced years and condition. Sorry, it's stupid, but I can't resist telling a joke. I can resist masturbating. It requires someone tie my hands behind my back, but then I can resist all day long, or until I'm released. However, I don't want it to be a trademark, but I do find it funny, and that's all I care about. Can I make myself laugh? It's also a good filter. If you can't handle a masturbation joke, you can handle the rest of what I'll say and the words I'll use to say it. And ChatGPT will refuse to edit documents with anything about masturbation, so you can be confident this was not written or edited by ChatGPT. Everyone has a unique point of view, and if one day someone else sees the genius behind my words and can overlook the lack of industry standards in my formatting and / or my personal style, then I've found someone I can work with, share my creative ideas with regardless of silliness, my past background, or their past success. All new ventures need a baseline. Now with ChatGPT, and the inevitable clones and knockoffs, I could simply run my thoughts and ideas through the AI and have it come out in perfect industry format. I won't, because if I follow that path and by some quirk of the universe someone actually wants to purchase something of mine, then what? If they want to rewrite, I have to put that through ChatGPT too. Massage it into a format they are comfortable with. I can't do it, I don't want to do it, and I won't do it. Maybe if I'm paid I would try harder. My goal is to write directly from the heart to the paper, edit once, hope for the best, and then press the publish button. What is the worst that can happen by publishing a few words on the internet for billions of people to access? But even these words, today's scrap, I could run through ChatGPT, perform a grammar and typo check, but why? This is as good as my writing gets, and if I'm working as a writer on a set, anything I produce will have an equal or greater number of errors than anything I've already published on Substack. So, if you want me as your writer, live with it, or send me to school until it's beaten into my head. Maybe that's why Ricky produces, writes, directs, and stars in his own productions? I have decided to make one modification to my Substack postings. Next time I will stop using the electronic voice. Luckily my real voice has nearly healed. I've been mute for 11 months and recording these words will be my physiotherapy. I'm done writing silly movie scripts. You won't see another one on this account. I might start a new account, and persona, if I decide there is some story so unique it must be told and I'm the only person who can possibly spin it. But until then, I'm done with fantasy life. So, if you like my past stories, or even if you hated them, at least one person really hated them, it's over. Get ready for the new Dave Gervais. Still not related to Ricky, and no longer making Ricky's job easier by providing him with my countless fictional story ideas. Now I'll editorialize the crap out of any subject I desire, and post as often as I desire. If I lose the few subscribers I have now, who cares? What difference does it make? It doesn't affect my ability to feed myself, so why do I care? I shouldn't. In fact, I should purposely piss off anyone who likes or supports my writing, as I exist better desperate and alone. The desperation helps me write. End of story.